Hello and welcome to our What is a Tripwire presentation today. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started and get us going. I will be checking in on the chat as we go along. So if you have any questions, please let me know there. So let's start with what is a tripwire? And today's takeaways are going to be, what is a tripwire and do you really need one for your business? What do different tripwires look like and how can you personalize them for your business needs? What all goes into the making of a tripwire? And how can you get started on yours right away? What are some of the best ways to market a tripwire and actually make money? How can you create multiple tripwires to do market research and personalize your main offer? So let's start a little bit with who am I, why am I qualified to teach this to you, etc., etc. So my name is Megan. I have worked for 4+ almost 5 years now online as an entrepreneur. I have experience and extensive training in drop shipping, affiliate marketing, lead generation for small brick and mortar businesses, e-course creation, content creation, and coaching. I have run the entire gambit in terms of content creation. I have done sales pages, I've done copywriting, I've done ebooks, all sorts of stuff. And I decided about a year ago to take all of my passions and combine them into one big coaching practice by teaching other entrepreneurs how to create passive income using these techniques. I will say in the beginning, I did start out basically by teaching people how to coach, and that just was not a giant thing that I was a fan of. And I noticed that quite a few entrepreneurs were not utilizing the streams of passive income that they really could in their business. And for me personally, I know for a lot of people, it's very, very important to create multiple streams of income in your business. Take a look at the world around you and see who the most successful people are. People like Mark Cuban, Gary Vaynerchuk, etc. Everybody that is self-made millionaire has made it by creating multiple streams of income for themselves. So that was important to me. A little bit of personal stuff. I have 2 small boys who are 7 and 2. And the 2-year-old will be 3 on the 30th of this month. I have an amazing boyfriend and an awesome dog named Jake. We live in the woods. Basically, we're in a very, very small rural area in Ohio. You walk out of my door and you walk into the woods, and we have a giant garden, and that's basically how we feed ourselves. Let's get going here. So what is a tripwire? A tripwire is basically another word for introductory offer. It's an offer that turns someone on your list from a lead to a paying customer. It's usually priced somewhere from $7 to $97, depending upon what the offer is and how much value you're giving. Obviously, the higher the value, the bigger the offer, the higher the price tag. But typically it falls in line with how you price other things on your site, such as group programs, one-on-one coaching, done for you services, etc. I will say there are many people who don't like the term tripwire, and they prefer to call it by other terms, such as introductory offer, or some people call it beginning offer, etc. But they're all essentially the same thing. Tripwire just happens to be what the marketing industry uses more often. So let's move into, do you need one for your business? And I'm going to get started by saying the only thing you truly need for your business is something that feels good for you personally. You know, I see all the time people are saying you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to act this way, you need to talk this way, etc. But in the end, it's all going to come down to what feels good for you and what works for you personally and business-wise. So just going to get that out of the way now. But I will say they are awesome at making people switch from lead to paying client and can oftentimes pay for your ad budget and VA all on their own. And we know how important a VA and we know how important Facebook ads can be in our industry. So having a Tripwire set up or an introductory offer set up that can pay for those things for you is amazing. Do you need a Tripwire again? If you do decide to get a Tripwire going for your business, it can help out in many different ways. The biggest benefits are that it moves people from potential client to paying customer, and it gives potential clients a way to work with you without paying the high prices of one-on-one services. So it builds brand loyalty. You know, if you happen to send out an offer, you know, a $27 offer, and people are like, oh, wow, I would have paid at least, you know, $97 or $197 or $1,000 for this, then you're going to really build brand loyalty. And it's another way to wow your list with value-packed information without a super high price tag. So you're able to really give people on your list something awesome that they can take away and something that they can implement right now without paying for your super high one-on-one prices. And it's not that your prices are high, it's just that sometimes the only thing someone can afford is that $17 or $27 price tag. So what do different tripwires look like? They vary from person to person and business to business. So what my tripwire looks like and what works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. Some of my favorite tripwires include e-courses, master classes, ebooks, printed book, or digital products package. So let's discuss a little bit about each one. An e-course is essentially a series of videos and a series of PDFs that walk people from the beginning to the end of a specific portion of your business or a specific task. A masterclass is set up much more like this webinar here, where you know you've got an hour or so long video with a PDF or two that takes someone along the process of something. It's much more in-depth on one topic, whereas an e-course covers a couple of different topics. Ebooks and printed books, those are pretty self-explanatory. Digital products could be a package where you've got worksheets, you've got PDFs, you've got swipe files for emails or Facebook ad copies, something like that. So your tripwire can be suited to match your individual needs and wants for your specific business. So just because someone else in your industry is using an e-course as their tripwire successfully doesn't mean that you have to as well. So let's say that you have published a book or two. Sending out a copy of that book that you have sitting at your house with a handwritten note will be much better suited to you and your business than creating an e-course that you don't really want to create just to convert some sales. So if you've got if you've got the stuff sitting there that you can convert into a tripwire, by all means, use that instead of creating something that's not in alignment for you just because you think it will do better in your industry. So what all goes into the making of a tripwire varies depending upon what it is that you are actually going to make, but there are a few key components that should be followed. You need to, I always do it in a process where I create my tripwire first before I create my opt-in. So you need it to all kind of go in a linear sort of fashion. You should have it set up in such a way that your opt-in is a starting point and something that's worth enough to get people going, get them started, and get them seeing results. And then the tripwire will build upon that and helps them along in the second part of the process. And your main offer is the grand finale. So the way I typically run everything is I have my main offer set up, ready to go and ready to sell. And I will build my tripwire off of that. I want it to be a starting point of sorts for my main offer. And then I will build my opt-in after that. So I kind of work backwards in a way where I know everything can stand alone by itself and provide a ton of value, but the next logical step is to move more forward down that line of progression. So there are a few easy ways for you to go back over everything that you have, and you might even have a tripwire sitting in your repertoire of content that you have created and you don't even know it. So let's think back over all of the content that you have created during the course of your business. Go back through all of your podcasts you've put out, all of your blog posts, your ebooks, your e-courses, your webinars. Heck, even go into Facebook groups that you post in daily and search your name, look at all of the content that you have put out there, and compile a list together. And there's a really good chance that, you can take an old webinar that's doing nothing but sitting on your desktop as a recorded video and convert that into a new piece of content that you can sell. So if you have that hour-long webinar full of valuable information, and when you signed off, you heard tons of people that were there, or even the 1 to 2 people that were there saying, man, I would have paid for that. Then you could easily add some more content to that webinar. Create a beautiful introduction and an outro, and add some PDF worksheets to go along with it, and sell it as a masterclass. I know someone who's personally done this before, and it netted her over $700 in 2 weeks, and she sold it at $27 a pop. And it's not like she was cheating people out of something, or turning free content into something that she is now selling. She added more information to it and turned it into a really valuable masterclass that helped a lot of people, and she made over $700 in 2 weeks, and that all she did was take that webinar and turn it into something that was worth paying for. For me personally, all of my tripwires have been e-courses that were specifically created for the purpose of being a tripwire. I wanted to deliver as much value as possible. I wanted to turn it into something, because I'm a giant fan of creating e-courses anyway. So for me, it was simply the easiest way to do it. I would sit down, take a few hours, create my slides, create PDFs, record the videos, and put it out there at a price point that felt good for me. So you will typically see all of my tripwires being offered for a price of between $27 and $47. Um, that seems to be the best price point for something in my industry. So when it comes to marketing your tripwire, you're going to need to have your sales funnels put in place solidly. This is where any and all of your sales funnel training is really going to come in handy for you. So, the easiest and best way to market your tripwire will be to an audience that is already warmed up to you. I fully recommend creating an awesome lead magnet. One that is worth real money, one that in all actuality you could charge money for and people would pay it. This will bring people in the door and get them talking about you. After they sign up for your list, offer even more value in the next 1 to 2 emails. Don't try to sell right away. Show them that you care about who they are as a person, who they are as a business owner, who they are as for whatever reason that they signed up on your list, and that you just aren't just in it for the money. In the third or fourth email following, add a great story that shows you were where they are now. Show them how you overcame obstacles. Show them why you are the expert on what it is that they're trying to learn, because you've been there, you've done that, you've faced the obstacles, and you overcame it. And then that is where you can, show them the tripwire offer. You can let them know that by purchasing this offer, it will get them from where they are now to where they want to be and where they need to be. Depending upon, what industry that you're in, it could be where they need to be in terms of organization or in terms of creating their own business, etc. You just need to show them why you're the expert. So some more marketing is, for Facebook ads, running Facebook ads to your website to get people to read some free pieces of content that you have without asking for an email address is a fantastic way to start, because you can add a tracking pixel right there in that blog post. And people can be reading what it is that you have to say. And then you can retarget all of those people with an ad, either specifically to your tripwire or to your opt-in, which will get them in that email sequence. And what's great is these are people that know who you are. They're familiar with you now. They've been on your website. They know what you're about, and they know the type of value that you offer. And they're going to have a much higher likelihood of buying that tripwire for you. Now, those tripwires that are priced at $27 and above have a much higher likelihood of paying you back for the ad money and making you some profit to go along with it. Simply because most ads run at $5 a day or above. And, with a 20% opt-in rate for someone purchasing your tripwire, after a few days, 2 days in, you sell one $27 product and it's already paid for the past 2 days and the next 2 days of ads. So that's the best way to go about it. In my personal opinion, and just from what I've seen in the industry as a whole. But remember, in the long run, while yes, we do want to make money and pay our bills, the point of the tripwire is really to add even more value to this person's life and business. And helping them will help you more in the long run. So make sure that, what you're doing is is really coming from a place of wanting to help people and wanting to make them money and wanting to add value to their life and make them feel like you care and that you are really there for them and not there for the paycheck at the end of the day, because they can tell the difference. And it's going to reflect in how often they buy from you. You know, there's always a saying that once they buy from you once, they're going to buy from you again. And typically they buy from you at 5 times the price of what they bought from you before. So if they buy something from you at $27 and it's not worth that, then you're going to have a hard time selling them something at even $47. But if they buy something from you at $27 and it's worth way, way more than what you sold it for, then you're going to have an easier time selling them something at even $197. That's just how it works. Multiple tripwires. So creating multiple tripwires that all tie into your main offer is a great way to personalize your sales page and sales emails to get more signups for your main offer. So, for example, I teach passive income. I will have an e-course tripwires on ebooks, self-study courses, and affiliate marketing. Anyone who buys my e-course creation tripwire will be sent to a sales page for my main offer that talks about why they will benefit from learning all about my sales funnels for their self-study course. Those that buy my tripwire on ebooks will be sent to a sales page for the same course, but it will detail how the sales funnel training will help sell the ebook. So while every single person that buys my tripwire will be sent to the same offer for a main offer, their sales page and their email sequence funnel is going to look different depending upon which offer they chose for the tripwire at the time. And it will create a higher conversion rate for your main offer, which is ultimately the goal in the long run. So some of the key takeaways for today are that tripwires are a solid way to get people on your list moving through the process of lead to paying client. It's also a solid way for you to give a ton of value to your potential clients for a lower price point, so they feel better paying for your higher priced services. It's also a good way to pay for Facebook ads, VAs, other business expenses, to start turning a profit for yourself and to stop feeling like you have to struggle every single day to make money in your business. So those who made it on live today have the option to pick up my latest e-course at almost half off. The price drops from $197 to $97 for you. It's all about creating tripwires and sales funnels. If you have any questions or comments, you can find me at BizBells on Facebook group or email me at megan@meganrenee.org.